Welcome back, everybody. I am Follygon, and we're going to jump right into creating the body or bust of this character for D.Va. So we're working on D.Va. We were playing around with some hair in the last episode, but I don't think we're going to continue on that in this one. I would rather start to block out the basic proportions and shape of the body. So, like everything else that I create, starting with a sphere, I'm just going to scale it up and put it into the basic kind of shape of, a rib cage. And a rib cage is essentially an egg, if you take a look at if you break it down into its most primary form. And it's got a little bit of a forward lilt to it, and I'll try to get that in there. Maybe from the side looking more beanish, but I probably won't keep that in there too much. And I can adjust this shape a little bit as well. And try to keep our neck looking a bit on the longer side. Looking at this, these muscles are just way too fat for what we're going to want. I think it's going to look better in general if we just keep it more flat, more cylindrical. So let's get that in there, as well as duplicating this piece so that I can start blocking out the trapezius as well as where our arms are going to come out. So let's, if I can adjust that, get a quick Dynamesh in there. And whoa, and that is the first time that has happened in this video, and we can just layer, clear, get rid of that stuff. The shortcut for that is Control-N or Control-Shift-N if you're using MyUI. In MyUI, Control-N is a way to create a new document very quickly. And I've just kind of had that shortcut set up that way forever, and it's a nice little shortcut to have. So, messing with these deltoids and traps for where this shape is going to be. These are coming out and sticking out a little far. That's fine. We can adjust them and cut them up as we need. And looking at this, we're going to want to adjust this shape quite a bit. So I'm just kind of trying to keep my Dynamesh pretty low. As with everything else when starting out, the key is to kind of focus your attention on big shapes and big changes. So that is what I am attempting to do right now. And that's kind of, it's a difficult thing, especially when you're talking at the same time. So let me turn off perspective. And I was going to put, well, you know what, I still will do it, just so I can kind of, work how I tend to normally do this. Getting the basic shape of the ribs here. It's not exactly right, a little bit higher up and a little bit more exaggerated is what we're going to want here. And I am going to get a sphere in here just so we can build a little bit beyond the boundaries of where I said, and then from there we can merge it down later and cut off stuff that we don't need. So it's a little hard to get it exactly where you want without building past it, but if you can do it, then by all means, no need to continue throwing in geometry in there. Ribs are a little bit higher, so we're looking for this egg kind of shape, as I've said, and that's a little bit much. I'm just using a combination of my trim brush, it's a good one, as well as my pinch brush to kind of get this shape in here. So we'll adjust that a little bit, as well as adjusting this sphere to kind of pull up into what would be the abdomen. This is looking just silly. So let's attempt to adjust these, and we'll pull them down. And I think what I would like to do is merge those two pieces together. It'd be very helpful. And what do we want? Let's Dynamesh, smooth out some stuff, get those back a little bit. Definitely not going to be that strong of a transition look absurd. And we can cut these off for now. And maybe, you know, maybe get a little bit of a pool. If I can rotate my camera. I promise I do know how to use ZBrush. Let's see here. So that's looking a lot closer, right? We'll keep playing with it here. Just using my clay tubes brush, trim around here. Really just looking for that basic shape. Getting close to a point where I might want to Z-remesh. Let's, instead of doing that, I was going to push that in with my standard brush, but it was looking a little bit too strong, and I didn't want to adjust it too much, so we'll just do that, just so this kind of has a place to sit in. So it looks like it's all working together. Everything's kind of interlocking. Whoa, wrong brush. That's fine. We'll make it work. Switch back to my lasso. There we go. So we're getting closer. About here is where we could throw our hips in if we were going to go down that far. But I think for now we will pass on doing any extra work that we don't have to do, right? So let's mask this off. I want to get where the pits would be. Get our armpitties in there. Smooth some stuff out. We're looking for real basic shapes. This is so sharp right here. If you're looking how the light is catching this, so I'm wondering if just a good quick trim will do the job, and it looks like that will do it. And a little bit of some smooth in there as well. And that should round that out for us. Awesome. Compared to the head, the torso might, or the rib cage might be a little small, so it's still a little tough to tell right now. I'm staring at it so long, especially when you're dealing with a stylized character like D.Va or an anime character or anything of that nature. So what I like to do is throw in some arms here, and we can start. Oh, you know what? I'll keep back face masking on because I'd like to get those a little bit wider on the ends. Dynamesh them up, and we can start throwing in more of these shapes. Like I said, building beyond our boundaries, and then later on we can kind of cut it off. And I'll show you how to do that. We're going to use one of our slice brushes, most likely, you know, just our slice curve brush. And using the default setup with that, you can get a really nice, clean, straight cut. So I'm just gonna try to build up this shape a little bit. This should be a bit more thin in here. This should be a bit more built up. You know, the upper arm here isn't an exact freaking tube, so that's fine though. This stuff takes time to all get there. I am definitely not a fast sculptor by any means, but we will get there in time. So let me get a pinch in here. I like to pinch in around this chain, this portion, get a nice kind of transition between where the deltoid and the pec is going to be. Can kind of block that in. This isn't the right shape here at all. You gotta have your collarbone in here, and we can kind of try to put that in here real quick. Just adjusting this shape a little bit more. Kind of trying to look at the rib cage right now from the profile. That's not the exact angle that we're looking for, so let's try to smooth that. Looks like maybe not enough. So it might be a good idea to Z-remesh. I'm going to do 1,000 polygons. I don't want to go incredibly low quite yet. So I'm just trying to really get it to a place where I can adjust the shape but still keep most of the forms in there that at least the big blocky forms in there that I created. That's looking a bit better. Once we throw in some breasts, we'll be able to see that a little bit easier. So let me go ahead and block in this area where our collarbone should sit, and we can adjust that as well. So let me mask this and we'll use a mask pen on here just to get rid of that little part of those sticking up, being a nuisance. For the collarbone, depending on what angle you're looking at it, it is curved, and depending on the angle of your arms, I think our arms are going to be down in this instance. That can also affect kind of the curve of your collarbone. Your collarbone actually rotates along its length axis, so it would rotate, if this was a cylinder, around this cylinder. And I think it rotates quite a bit, actually, by like 45 degrees or so. It's quite a bit of a change that occurs on that. But, you know, that's pretty far outside of the scope of this project, so we don't need to worry about that too much. But let me go ahead and just get a little slice in here, a little pinch. I just like to do that to get a little bit of a plane change in the center of the chest. And I think I'll do that one more time and then start throwing in these collarbones. I do like to often keep my deltoids attached to my arms. At least for me, that's pretty helpful. But I think we'll make more of those kind of changes and look at the arms, the collarbones, just kind of getting all this in better proportion and shape in the next episode. So I will see you guys over there, and I look forward to talking to you guys again. All right, see ya.